What is up, guys? Hope you're doing well. So Crypto John with the quick market update. I was looking at something in the crypto charts, and we actually just had a very bullish sign that signals a good time to buy potentially. So let's look back before I explain what just happened. So over the past 11 to 12 months, we've been following a pretty set pattern of a descending triangle right here. You can see that we just bounced off this key support level of 6,000 multiple times, and the highs got lower and lower and lower. And it lasted for a very long period of time. This lasted since around February, January, up until just recently. And we actually just broke out of it. As you can see here, we broke out of the descending trend line. We jumped out, and then immediately the breakthrough was followed by a ton of purchases, a ton of bullish action, which drove the price all the way up to almost 7,700. It quickly came back down, of course, because you can't sustain a move that big that fast. But after playing at this resistance for some period of time, we actually broke out again. And as I'm speaking, we are trying to break through the 6,500, 6,600 level of resistance. And this is a very, very bullish sign, especially because we broke out of the descending trend line, the multi-month descending trend line, I might add, which is very, very bullish. And now it looks like we are going through an upward squeeze. If we look on it on a shorter time frame, looks like we're going through a little bit of a squeeze. We've been fighting this level for quite some time. If you look at it here, we've been fighting this resistance level of 6,500 for several days, in fact, and we just recently broke through it, got a pretty clean break, came back down, and now it looks like we're just retesting it, which is extremely bullish. And so let's pull up some other indicators to get that perspective. So the MACD looks very, very bullish, and this is the measures the moving average over a certain period of time. So the red line and blue line just crossed actually not too long ago, only a couple of hours ago, which is very, very bullish. In addition to that, let's look at the stochastic RSI, which is also pretty bullish and gives us a pretty similar reading. Just a couple of hours ago, we crossed through the lines crossed, which is very bullish. So personally, I will be adding a little bit more Bitcoin to my portfolio. This is a very good sign. We haven't actually seen a lot of action in Bitcoin lately up until the past week or so since we crossed through that descending wedge. My chart's broken here for a second. Come on. But thankfully, it looks like the worst is over as we have just crossed out of it, and as we continue to hopefully plow through this 6,500, 6,600 resistance zone. Okay, so there's a few key things too that happened today that I wanted to talk about. So if you look at CoinDesk here, blockchain announced that they're going to be airdropping $125 million in Stellar, which is literally the largest cryptocurrency giveaway in history. This is huge because crypto is very, very volatile relative to the news, especially early on, which is, we're still in the early stages of crypto development. So any good news is typically going to be reflected in the price action. And to be honest, the good news today might have actually driven this breakthrough. So that's certainly a very bullish sign that they're going to be distributing 125 million in Stellar Lumens, which is nearly 500 million tokens to blockchain wallet holders who sign up for the airdrop. And of course, we'll probably see a slight dip when that does happen, because as always, people use airdrops as an opportunity for free money. They get the airdrop and then they sell it very quickly. But long term, this is a very bullish sign. In addition to this, Augur, the decentralized betting platform that's based off of Ethereum, has been doing quite well. As we can see, the bets hit over $2 million, which is huge for the elections today. And again, while Augur isn't really used on a wide scale, it's not, crypto isn't fully there just yet. This is, again, a very bullish sign. I mean, $2 million worth of bets, on the elections just today is huge. It looks like another one that I think got 12% people saying yes was, will Ethereum reach $500 by the end of 2018? And if we look at that here, it looks like most of the people that betted said no. Personally, we should look at Ethereum and try and decide that for ourselves. Let's take a look. Get rid of this stuff right here. So looking at Ethereum on a longer term chart, it does look pretty heavy. I'm not going to lie. I think that these charts might be misleading though, because most cryptocurrencies have been waiting for Bitcoin to make a move. As I've gone over many times in my course, Bitcoin is a weather vane. And so oftentimes, these coins will be very bearish. And then the second that Bitcoin looks like it's going to do something, you'll see a massive jump. But then again, it does look pretty heavy. I mean, we've been retesting this support zone several times, the 175 to 200 level. And we also have been in, it looks like potentially 2 downward trend lines. I mean, this right here, obviously this bear channel, we did break out of it actually about a week ago, two weeks ago, which was right around the time that Bitcoin actually broke through the descending trend line that it was suffering through. So that's very, very, very correlated, of course. So that is a bullish sign. That is bullish. I will not be doubling down on Ethereum. I will not be purchasing more Ethereum. I'm just holding right now because we also have to cross through this, what looks like this descending trend line right here. Who knows how long that will last for? I mean, I think that once we hit the 300, 400 price point for Ethereum, that's a pretty good sign that we're out of the high volatility phase and it's time for some bullish action. And lastly, I wanted to talk about Bitcoin Cash, which has hit a 2-month high, climbed 11% to do so, which is obviously pretty bullish. And Bitcoin Cash is on Coinbase, so keep in mind that any coins that are on Coinbase are going to generally have a much higher trading volume. So that obviously had a huge deal to do with it. But let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash on the charts. Bitcoin Cash to US dollars. So if we pull this up on the one-day chart, just very briefly, taking a quick look at it, it looks like, again, it's been pretty stagnant, which is, again, mirroring Bitcoin just over the past several months. Let's get a few signals here. So looks like we're playing around at a somewhat key support level. If we move this down a little bit right here, right around 400. I mean, I do not think that's a coincidence. I think it's pretty obvious that we are dealing with this the 400 level of support. It looks like the next level that it's been playing with, at least locally, is the 650 resistance. As you can see here, it served a support previously back in July and August. Right here, it bounced off a couple times, and now it's turned into a resistance. So crossing through this 650 level of resistance would be a very bullish sign, which could potentially be spurred on. In fact, not even potentially, but almost will inevitably be spurred on if Bitcoin does blast past the resistance that we're currently facing at around 6,600, 6,500. So again, as I've said many times in my course, we treat Bitcoin as a weather vane for how the whole crypto markets are going to respond. And based off of the current Bitcoin price action, it's struggling at the 6,600 level of resistance, but it looks like it's got a lot of momentum. Looks like it's going to plow through. In fact, it looks like it almost already has plowed through the resistance, but we'll have to see. We'll have to wait a day or two to see if it really sticks. But keep in mind, if we do get a hard pass beyond this level, we could see a situation like this right here happening because many times when you look at the markets, at the very tail end of an indicator, like we're seeing right here, at the very end of this descending trend line, a lot of the time, everyone knows that a move is going to happen, and so they're waiting for confirmation. And so it's almost like a proving bias that we see, because so many people are waiting for something to happen. And then when you get the slightest bullish sign, everyone thinks, oh my, sorry about that. It looks like my computer very briefly glitched out. So, but yeah, anyways, as I was saying, it looks like we could see a situation where, it's a self-confirming bias, because near the end of a trend, people are waiting for a move and they know that one's going to happen. And so whenever people begin to see signs of a certain bullish or bearish move, they tend to think that, oh, this is what's going to happen. We see bullish signals. It looks like it's going to happen. So they all jump in and purchase and drive the price up to be even more bullish. And it looks like that might be what's happening here. I mean, you can see clearly it happened here. People were waiting. They were like, oh, is it going to go through the resistance or the support? Is it going to crash through? Is it going to go up? And as soon as they started to see that it was going up past this descending zone, immediately it jumped up by over $1,000 worth of price within, I think, like an hour. So we could see one of those happen. Again, as I said, I will be purchasing more Bitcoin to add to my portfolio. Seems like I pretty much covered everything. I mean, overall the crypto markets are up. If you look at coinmarketcap.com, which shows the trading volume and a whole bunch of other different great metrics you can look at, it seems that everything's looking pretty good. Bitcoin Cash had a good day, as we said. It went up 11%. But again, it all comes down to Bitcoin. So be sure to watch Bitcoin very closely this next few days. It might be a good idea to set an indicator for maybe a little bit over 6,600, maybe 6,610, just so it isn't triggered if it hits 6,600 and then goes back down, if it's a false indicator. So yeah, if you guys want, you can check out my course. There'll be links down below. The URL is getbitcoinmillionaire.com. I'm starting this channel for the first time. I'm pretty new at this, but I just want to keep doing it and provide good crypto updates and crypto news. So hope you guys had a good time watching this. Let me know any feedback down in the section below. Be sure to subscribe, and as always, I will see you guys next time.